All right, y'all. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ITUTv podcast. As we give you guys that 411 on what's going on in the marketplace. Today, I have with me Michael Franz coming back for the quarterly update. What's up, Mike?
What up? What up?
It's been an interesting one these first 3 months.
To say the least, yeah. To say the least, a lot of shit going on, bro. A lot.
Oh man, for sure. We've had some crazy tensions going on, Trump and the tariffs. So it's really hectic out here. We're in. I mean, look, like we said, we're due for this to happen. Overdue. You can't pump up the market to begin with. So a lot of people upset out here. I see people complaining about, their 401ks and whatnot. People complaining about the stocks plummeting, complaining about the market falling off, and things in their eyes look really bad for the United States. Now, should we, you know, come to mind that this being true? I mean, I more so believe that it's a necessary, happening for us to have better later on, and we need to take this hit up front.
Yeah. I mean, for these past 100 days that or almost 100 days, right?
Yeah.
Have been very interesting. A lot of stuff has been adhered to. I think kind of like what I think a lot of people are waiting for is the action to be taken against all of the fraudulent shit that's been going on, and we're not seeing that. So now we're
Hmm.
seeing a little bit of unrest. But the first 90 days was crazy, exposing this, that, and the other. Right? We've said it all along that the Department of Education shouldn't be at a federal level; it should be handled at a state level,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what's supposed to be happening. But you see everybody kind of taking it for what it's not and trying to create that divisive side. Like there are things that aren't going away, but it's being made to feel like it's going away because when we lose things, we feel right. So
Right.
it's fear mongering, right? Oh, the Department of Education is going away. No, it's not. The power is going to the states, right? The
Mhm.
federal level doesn't need to even have their hand in it. I
Right.
can't tell you how many teachers I've talked to that have said that they're glad that the federal level is going away.
Backing off.
So you've got things like that. The funny thing for me is all these numbers that have been thrown out of, like, let's take Doge for example, right?
Mhm.
And this just kind of goes to show where everybody's mindset is at. And we know that the government has a lot of shady shit going on. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So is it hard to believe that it's going to be these type of numbers? It could be. For me, it's not. Right? For you, it's not because these guys move in large numbers, and we know this.
Right.
But for the average American who doesn't understand a lot of what's going on when it comes to these financial sides and these charts and whatnot, to sit here and say that there's that much money that's being laundered, if you will,
Hmm.
like it's surprising. And I think a lot of people don't want to necessarily fall into a position that shows, holy shit, most of my life I've been lied to, right?
Right.
So
Right.
what do you do instead? You lash out. Instead of being open minded about it, you defend to your death of what you know.
Right.
People should start being a little bit open minded. They really should.
No, it's very important, especially now. Like a lot of the things are adjusting, a lot of things that you've come to believe over the last 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, guys, we're not sitting here trying to give you just, stuff out of our ass as far as information. Like this is stuff we're seeing in the charts and also reflecting in our economy, also reflecting on these stages through the federal government that we're dealing with. And it's globally. Like you got to look at the macro of what's happening around the world because all of the shit falls down into the micro.
Mm-hmm. Correct. It's kind of like it's kind of like telling somebody like this is one of the difficult ones that I have in my own house. Is did we really land on the moon? Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that we really landed on the moon at that time. We may have since, but I mean, depending on what you believe in, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Was it staged? Was it wasn't?
There's the firmament, this, that, and the other. That we've never been to space. Period. Right. So I don't know, bro. That's a crazy topic to even talk about too. Just I was listening to a couple things in regards to that because for some reason it showed up in my feed on Twitter with like this little girl explaining the Earth being flat with the firmament, this, that, and the other, and I'm like, bananas. She's like 12 years old,
Yeah.
but whatever. Depending on, I look at the details, the blatant details, and I'm like, no, we didn't land on the moon at that time.
Right. But I mean,
Tell somebody who lived and watched that though, watched it live.
oh, right. They're going to believe it. But I mean, we're at that point now where a lot of that's being revealed. People's belief systems are being stretched now, and so much is being revealed on all kinds of different facets. So you've got to kind of be particular. You've got to kind of just go back and fact check some things and see what's true and what's not, right? And just being able to allow yourself to change that perspective now with new information.
Right. So, but it takes an interesting position to try and be that open minded,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it goes into the politics side as well. Like you're talking about these things that have been happening and how money was spent. Well, look, how money was spent at least over the last 4 years, we know was a liberal Democrat that was in office.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not place blame on that, right?
Right.
How are we sitting here acting like that shit never happened?
Right.
What was it? You heard about the auto signature thing that was going on?
Ah.
Documents were being auto signed with from Joe Biden. Who
Cool.
was it? But there's a question of who was in charge of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That the fact that that even got it accepted is huge because I mean he needs to read that information. Who's in control of auto signing his signature?
Right. And I don't know. I mean, take it for what it is. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
look, I'm not saying that one side is better than the other. I'm saying that all of them are crooks.
Right.
All of them are. So it's time to
Guaranteed.
expose them. It's time to expose. But the thing is it's being exposed numerically, but people want to see action being taken towards those that have been doing this, and we're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, kind of circling back these first 90 days, we saw a lot that came out, and then all of a sudden, this completely pulled back at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, what we're sitting here watching is tariffs being applied, which right now that's the big news, of course, that's in everything that's going on financially is these tariffs dropping all of our markets, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Which the tariffs, in my opinion, are perfectly fine. You know, even with taking into effect what these tariffs that have been applied to us have been in effect for, like Canada. We saw where milk is 295% tariffed,
Right.
right? Butter's like 280, yogurt's like 285%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that. It is that percentage, but only once it reaches a certain quota, right? After that, those kick in. And that's important to understand. But Canada's our number two importer of dairy products. So you can't tell me that many dairy products are coming in and we haven't met that quota.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't believe. And they haven't said, oh, these quotas haven't been met, this, that, and the other. Because if it's been met and we have been charged that, then guess what? Now it becomes valid even more so that we have any form of a tariff back to y'all. It makes sense, right?
Right.
And
Right.
if you don't want the tariff, it's easy. Come over here on this side of the border, start opening manufacturing plants
That's
and
right.
start hiring American individuals, right?
That's right.
That's where we're at now. I don't know if you caught this thing that happened yesterday where it was what did he call it? Liberation Day. Did you see this?
No.
So he was talking about yesterday was considered as Liberation Day, and it was crazy because as soon as he said that, boom, the market dropped. So hang on. before that gets any worse. I had to close that.
No, you're
Um,
good.
what's it called? He announced though that there have been, what is it, 16 companies. At one point within the first week, it was only 3 companies. One of them being Apple.
Yeah.
Apple said we're going to invest $500 billion into the United States, and we're going to bring jobs to Michigan. Was it Detroit, Phoenix, and somewhere else?
Now, what does that say about, like, okay, so bringing manufacturing back, bringing jobs back? What does that say about how expensive things will get stateside?
Okay, so here's the thing. What people don't realize is up front we're going to experience a little bit of a difficulty. Yes, that's to be expected because of course prices are going to rise,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now, what ends up happening? I mean, in fact, before I even go into this, what happens when you keep a dollar circulating in the same area and then it multiplies the more and more? Your economy gets strong,
Right.
right?
Value goes up.
Because you've got money just circulating here, right
Mm-hmm.
in this one area, right? So considering that, right, prices go up for some of these items because they're made in America compared to those ones that were made in China. Okay, let's say we're talking about, let's just take an iPhone case for one, 20 bucks. 20 bucks made in China. We have to pay exports to that, this, that, and the other. So let's just say $5 of that stays here, right? The rest of it goes out to paying all the exports. Okay, so we tariff with this country that's sending, let's just say it's China, tariff them X amount of percentage. Their costs then go up. So then the US one, let's say that's $25, right? So it's $5 more because it was made in America.
Okay.
Because of the tariff, let's say that the cost of the China one goes up to 30. So in theory, your US one is cheaper, even though the price went up, it's still the cheaper one. And instead of $5 then circulating, because we're talking about the tariff adding in the rest of the money, still only $5 circulating from that amount coming from the other country. You've got $25 circulating into the US rather than 5. You're building up the economy, and within the economy, you're going to have to purchase US based items. That's the whole thing. That's the whole trick behind this. It's in a way forcing us to buy US,
Mm-hmm.
which shouldn't be a bad thing. Why is it a bad thing? A
Because people
US,
want to buy cheap. People
right?
can't see it
Exactly.
from that perspective.
Right. Exactly. So companies want to turn around now. I'm curious to see what happens with the auto industry now that we've got tariffs on the autos that are going out. So what was it, 20-25%, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty high when you're talking about how much automobile costs are, right?
Right.
Are certain vehicles like, okay, so we know Ford is built here, Chevrolet, right? But other companies like Toyota, who turn around and say we're going to add manufacturing plants on U.S. soil. I hope they see what Toyota's been doing, because Toyota's like, okay, go ahead, add these tariffs because we're good. We've already been here, done that. We're good.
Matter of fact, I just saw with Toyota that they opened up shop in Japan to test run AI manufacturing for their vehicle.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they spent like a lot, like a few million for buying the city to do that.
Yeah. Toyota's doing things right, and people need to see that, right? So any of these Japanese that have Japanese cars, y'all need to start talking about opening up over here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I wanted to get your take on with uh, Fed cuts for quarter 1, right? With inflation, with CPI, PCE, and wage growing trends, right? If we're in a state where these things and prices are going up, but wages aren't changing as speedily as they would need to. What is your viewpoint on that?
So we're gonna start seeing rate cuts,
Mhm.
right? Maybe not right off the bat. I'm assuming the one that's coming up is gonna end up being a no change. I think that's in April, probably around April 20th. I want to say no, it's probably the 16th. I would assume. Um, so when they do these rates, whatever the percentage is at, it's not going to change.
Welcome to Independent Trading University at ITU. We're more than just an education platform. We're a community built to help you succeed. Trading can feel like a solo journey, but with ITU, you're never alone. Our team is here to support, guide, and push you toward mastery. Technical analysis support, so you can read the charts with precision. Fundamental support, so you understand market-moving news and economics. Psychology support, so you can develop the mindset of a successful trader. We provide the tools you need to thrive: weekly live education, 24/7 community support, and real-time trading setups from experienced coaches. Wherever you are, access the education and mentorship that will transform your trading. Join ITU today and trade with confidence.
Inflation itself is coming down because government spending is down. That's what's so huge. So when inflation comes down, we're going to see interest rates start tumbling after that. That's the other thing. And I'm sure the plan behind it is going to try and save the housing market, which is what we talked about. What was it, yesterday?
Yeah, we talked about with the students yesterday. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the housing market is on the brink, and we
Right.
know that.
Oh yeah.
It has been for a long time.
Right.
But this could soften the blow into a recession because we're bound to feel a recession, period, an actual official recession, which is funny because they wouldn't call anything a recession within the past 4 years.
Years ago. Right, where it already should have been claimed that had already hit those numbers.
We're going to feel an official recession, 100%.
Mhm.
We're going to feel a depression. I don't know, because some of these tariff percentages are higher than the ones that were assessed back when the Great Depression was going on.
Right. And Doge's effect on the Fed is part of saving that money.
Right, because it's wasteless government spending that they're fighting, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to see people's money going to being spent on Sesame Street in a different country. I think that's ridiculous. You know,
Agreed.
I think that there's been a lot of this energy that's been thrown towards. I mean, we could get into a whole different perspective, but the whole transgender situation, right? There's been a lot of money thrown towards this when no other group has experienced that type of funding, if you will, right?
Right.
You
Right.
want to group people into whatever group you want to do that. But there was one certain one that had a lot of funding spent on it over the past 4 years.
They like to fund these distractions.
Right. Exactly. These were just little not tax, but just random checks that were being funneled. Okay, so I'm going to send over this much money for this. You give me this percentage and we're good to go. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of that shit is true. I can't help it but feel that way because we are the biggest spenders in the world. The U.S. individuals, Americans, we're the biggest spenders in the world, and we're this broke. How? How? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Going into the homes, 6.1 million people are behind on the mortgage.
Right. And
Right?
if we keep going how we're going, I think I saw like 5 years from now, we could be looking at like $5,000 a month in mortgages.
Which is asinine.
Ridiculous.
Nobody's going to be able to afford that.
Right.
So, well, I take that back because as money gets circulated within this country, the way that it's going to be circulated, wages are going to start being able to go up. They're going to start increasing a lot more because it's going to need to be. You know what I mean? That's how we make. I guess I hate to say the rhetoric of "Make America Great Again," but we need to rely on each other, right? Stop relying on cheap manufacturing. You know, rely on American made shit. Support local. You know what I mean? Like, and I think I understand that more now than ever because I own my own business.
Right.
You know what I mean? I put so much into what I do for my food truck. That's so much more than what McDonald's puts into their food.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I can't be as big as that. And that hurts me.
Right. It takes the local support for even you to grow that food truck to, the levels that it's even hit now.
Right. Right. So I think as far as what needs to happen is that they need to decide on rate cuts sooner rather than later. I can see this one passing as a no change. But if they don't start lowering interest rates on the next one, there's going to be hell to pay. I feel like we're just going to have people getting more further behind.
Oh, for sure.
So I was reading somewhere there's a thing that was saying to live comfortably in the city of Phoenix, you have to have $131,000
A year?
at least.
Sounds about right.
Live comfortably in Phoenix, bro.
Sounds about right.
Since when, though? Since when? Arizona, bro. I hate to say if people could survive in Arizona, they could survive. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're already here, like Venus and I have been here, this is what our business is made of. We've got our custom of living out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing for us to survive. But anybody new coming into this state, you don't know what you're in for. It's expensive here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was there for a while.
It's expensive, bro.
Right.
Like, I hate to say it, it is expensive.
Yeah.
And we're turning into California because all these Californians moved over here. They brought over that wealth, if you will, because they're all their properties. So for like double what ours were valued at, they bought them up, called it a day.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I'm really curious to see what happens with this housing market because there is possibly a way to rebound from it and slowly avoid the Armageddon asteroid, if you will.
The collapse is on the horizon.
But that's the whole thing. The collapse is on the horizon.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, the collapse is going to be on the horizon for everything.
Right.
But people are worried about that, right? People are worried about that. In all honesty, are you worried or no?
I'm not necessarily worried just due to what we do, so it's more of an expectation of, okay, this is something we have to go through for success on the other side. But for the most part, if they can avoid it, so be it, right? We avoid the issue, fantastic. But if it has to happen, it has to happen. It's not like it's not something we've been through before and haven't bounced back from.
Right. We've gone through certain threats before, everything that goes up goes down, everything that goes down goes up, but that's the whole point.
Right.
Everybody sits here and says, I want it to be a situation where Bitcoin was $1. I want it to be look, guys, you guys are sitting over here panicking right now. You're in this situation right now.
That's right.
So stop panicking, gather yourself, and get ready to start tearing this market apart, right?
That's the way I see it.
Take advantage of it. We want to see everything go down.
Right.
When it goes down, everything's on a discounted price. And all those dummies that are sitting there panicking, right, rather than buying more or whatever,
We're saying it's a time for opportunity. If you got to be able to see the opportunity in it, no different than 2020. We're talking about bloods in the streets again. This is a chance, and it may be the last chance to make a real come up, before we take these huge changes through the economy, through finance, through AI, and so on and so forth. Here's an opportunity for you as an American citizen to take advantage of the system.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It will be the last time people will be able to buy property
Yep.
It's going to be the last time that we're going to see millionaires be made in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last time we're going to see any of this stuff that people have been asking for a long time.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, if you missed the boat on this, you might as well never ever quit your 9 to 5.
You better hang tight.
Right, exactly. So I can tell you right now, based upon everything that we go over, there's certain cryptos that you're going to want to buy. You can look even at certain prices of stock. I'm telling you guys right now, if you have the ability to, as soon as Tesla starts approaching that 114, what was it, 114?
Yep, around that area. Yeah.
As soon as it starts approaching that 114 area, get ready to fucking buy.
Oh, for sure.
Nvidia, same thing. When those things all start coming down, the first quarter, because of all the whole market shift and everything and all the negative aspect of selling off of all these stocks right now, because all we've seen is just a bearish candle over the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see a move up. Now, it was funny because I literally saw somebody post about this. He was like, he had the background of the, I think it was the monthly chart of the Dow Jones, the US 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you see this? He said, this was Biden's era. He said, we saw a pullback that went a year and 6 months, and all you guys are worried about is this. And it was one candlestick. Yo, I was dying. I was dying. But the thing is we have to see. We've been calling this for a long time, bro.
Oh, yeah.
If we see everything collapse the way that it needs to collapse, I have faith that it's going to be rebuilt correctly.
Right.
Because the collapse needs to happen, right?
Right. We've
The
said it
longer and
over
longer that it
again.
doesn't, the more and more worried I get. Right?
Exactly. I was worried the day they started pumping the market with money, they started giving people money. I'm like, yo, this is not good. So there's going to be a major correction. We've got to clean this up at some point. So I'd rather break it all and start fresh with the right mind, the right money flowing in the right places than to keep pumping it up,
Right.
you know? So it is what it is. We're also seeing, guys, that oil is being affected, of course, by these tariffs. So you've got to be aware of that. You're going to see oil already. We're seeing it now drop tremendously.
Well, we also have BRICS going on too.
Yeah.
BRICS is still at work. Trump is fighting BRICS.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is fighting BRICS.
What's new in that realm?
So, I mean, Trump, of course, wants it to go. He wants to go against BRICS because of the fact that he wants the oil to still be settled in the U.S. dollar. That means that we're going to still have control as a currency over the whole world. Right? But all these countries are getting together. So I feel like that's kind of where a lot of these conversations are coming in. I don't know if you saw that he had spoke with Iran. He had spoke with quite a few countries over the past week.
They worked some kind of deal out. I'll have to take a look at it. We'll definitely talk about it later. But he worked some kind of deal out with them over there.
So, and he's also still trying to work out the situation with Russia and the Ukraine. He still has what's going on in Israel as well. So he's been talking to a lot of country leaders here and there. So if we end up losing that fight, though, we're going to start seeing oil probably drop extremely far. I would assume because everything's going to be done in a different currency. We're going to see some changes to the U.S. dollar. Right now, we still are the petrodollar.
Yeah.
So we can see the U.S. dollar drop in value because we lose value. Like right now, we're seeing drop only because we're creating enemies, right? In a way, I mean, this is the unfortunate side: is we're creating enemies off of something that really we're just saying, "Hey guys, we're done being pushovers," right?
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate side that people don't understand. When you've got your left that has their feeling the way that they do, And of course, you have the right extremists feeling it the way that they do. It's unfortunate that they're so divided, and one won't see the other at all. But even for a middleman, as an independent, I can see that what we're trying to do is say, "Hey guys, you've beat us up for long enough." But that also tells me that we've been the strongest country overall. We've been the strongest country as a facade. We never have been.
Mm.
Right?
Interesting take. Yeah.
We've actually been the weakest country because we've been taken advantage of like little brother. Right? Us as people, we've been taken advantage of by our own government. And that's the unfortunate side, is to see that, understand that side of it.
Yeah.
Which is why it bothers me to a point to see how divided we are over these situations right now. If these guys, this is kind of circling back to what I was saying earlier, like when we started talking about Elon and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you ever get mad at a person that is exposing where your money's going?
Right.
At that point, you're killing the messenger.
That's a fact. But if that's something that the media, certain governments, or certain people want to happen to keep, that mindset for people, that we're still under a certain, some people, many people are still under a certain level of control to not be able to see the positives in what's happening.
It's crazy. I don't know what's happening right now, but bro, the Dow is down 162 points already. Right now, it's literally down 162 points. This is nuts. It's just going to continue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But there will be a time period for us to bounce back, guys. There will be an opportunity in the future for you guys to, take advantage. Just hold on to your ducats, buckle down, ride the wave.
Bro, the stock market has done nothing but go up. If you look at it from the bigger standpoint,
oh yeah,
of course it has its dips, but it's done nothing but go up since it's ever been created.
Mm-hmm.
So what are people afraid of?
I don't know.
I have something truly special to share with you today. Have you ever dreamt of financial success and didn't know where to start? Look no further than Independent Trading University. At ITU, we offer a diverse range of courses, from Forex basics to advanced technicals, along with comprehensive fundamentals education, mindset coaching, health and wellness guidance, plus stock and crypto trading strategies. That's right. Everything you need for a well-rounded trading journey, all in one place. Our mission is clear, helping you make extra income by learning the art of trading. Join us today at solo.to/independent-trading-guru and take advantage of an exclusive pre-sale. $50 for undergrad students looking to trade part-time, and just $75 for career traders ready to dive in full-time. With ITU, you'll master the art of making consistent income from the markets. This is your chance to start building a brighter financial future. Are you ready to transform your trading game and take control of your financial future? Look no further than Independent Trading University, your one-stop destination for comprehensive Forex education and so much more. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, we've got you covered. We believe in a holistic approach to trading success. Gain a deep understanding of market fundamentals, master your mindset, and prioritize your well-being. We're here to support your growth every step of the way. And let's not forget about stocks and crypto. Discover exciting opportunities and learn strategies to make extra income. The best part? We're running a limited time pre-sale for new students. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to gain the skills, knowledge, and support you need to succeed. Ready to make connections with your financial future? Visit our website at solo.to/independent-trading-guru to secure your spot in our pre-sale today. Independent Trading University, where trading dreams become reality. It's time to start your journey to financial freedom. Don't wait. Visit solo.to/independent-trading-guru now.
It'll be interesting to see how everything responds to, especially with the auto tariffs. right? And we're talking about people. Here's the irony too, and I don't mean to make this seem like I'm liberal bashing or anything like that, because that's not the case. But I find it funny that it's those that are destroying Teslas out of spite for not liking Elon Musk are also those that are fighting to go green, which those are the electric cars. What are you guys doing, guys? Come on. I don't
It's
know.
it's
I,
it's
I, I
can't
thought it was
continue their hate above their agenda.
right. So then I ask, seriously, if this is what we're seeing going on right now, how is that any different than what happened when Biden was elected? Right? And the stolen election, this, it was, the election wasn't stolen. Calm down, calm down. Nah, motherfucker, these motherfuckers really feel like the election was stolen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's okay for them, if it's not okay for them to feel a certain way, what makes you feel like you can? Like it's funny to me, bro. Like I really sit back and think about these things. Like I see nothing but hypocrisy going around in these streets right now. Nothing but hypocrisy in these streets.
Of course. So it's a I don't want to say a double-edged sword, but it's like people want their cake and they want to eat it too. You know?
Of course, and you can't have it that way.
Right. That's just not how life works.
There's give and take and give. Like, come
Right.
on now.
Right.
And if you feel like you deserve everything, then that means you're entitled.
Yeah. And there's no way is not to say that are there some things that Elon have done that have been, wrong, misguided? Yes. But there are some things that are put in place for the benefits, that we can utilize, we can take advantage of. If there was another Elon out there, you know, by all means, but this is what we got to utilize right now.
Well, and before you go any further, just so people
Yeah.
know this, they're going to see in the news that Elon is going to be leaving Doge here soon. I don't want it to seem like people like he's doing anything wrong and he's being expelled out of it. His government contract was for 130 days, which the 130 days comes up in the middle of May. So he did his job. He did what he needed to do, expose what he needed to expose, and then he's gonna go. Gonna go back to doing what he does with SpaceX and Tesla. Right? So let him finish out what he's gonna do. It was only 130 days, but people got mad.
Look,
He's
they're acting like he about to be in here the whole term.
He's got access to your information. Like, motherfucker, you don't realize that every time you fill out the Census Bureau shit, you're giving away your information anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's not be stupid here, people.
Right.
They got you, whether you like it or not. They got you.
Right. They've been had a lot of your information. So to even think that you're getting away, you're hiding certain things, you're not. Right. Half the things that you agree to get access to for social medias and stuff like that, like you've already been got.
Right. How many people have Apple phones? Guess what? Got you.
Exactly. The information is being sold on a regular basis all across the globe.
Got him. It's funny to me, man. You want to protect your shit when you want to hide something. Like I ain't got nothing to hide. What the fuck? Like,
oh, for sure.
I don't want shit opened up in my name type shit. You know what I mean? But I know my info's out there one way or the other. These banks are gonna give it, and they get hacked all the time. This, that, and the other. So what the hell is anything different?
If you want to,
Elon
you got to live off the grid. You got to live off the grid to avoid it.
I will say this though. I think that the interesting things coming about is he's trying to help. Trump is trying to help in multiple different ways. In the sense of how we briefly talked about taxing the rich because the Democrats didn't pass the bill that included non-taxable wages for tips and overtime,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't get. Whatever, but that's what I'm talking about. See, look, it was into a bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Democrats, liberals are fighting for higher wages, this, that, and the other, but yet they don't pass the bill that contains no taxes on overtime and tips. Why? Why? Like, it is what it is. And it was overwhelming. And I know it's probably because of what the bill said before that portion that was snuck into a bill where it was like, we'd rather lose this than to gain this.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. But why? I don't know. I haven't heard what part of the bill was so bad that you guys voted against this. Whatever.
There's got to be something.
Anyway, let's bring up minimum wage, but we're not gonna look, bro. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I would rather no tax on tips and overtime than to bring up minimum wage. Period. Because when minimum wage goes up, cost of living goes up, and we know this.
Mm-hmm. They know this. They know
right? Exactly. So, it's like, damn, bro, something is going on in the market right now.
If I can tell you guys something out there, if you are in the normal, 9 to 5, you've been working your butt off, over these years, setting yourself up, you've built your 401k like you're supposed to, went to college, got your job, fantastic. But
Congratulations, you played yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
You need to be making that transition. At the end of the day, we're in the times where you need to be making that transition into entrepreneurship, investing, owning, and stuff like that, guys. We've talked about this time and time again. It's imperative that you make that transition right now, right? There's a lot of things happening, even with crypto, right? We're talking about, I just saw MasterCard is going to allow you to transfer digital assets now. You've got BlackRock is setting up in UK, I believe it was. What was the big Bitcoin exchange? Maybe let me find it real quick because it did not come out too long ago. But I don't want to give you guys the false information on it. So I want to give you guys exactly what it was for BlackRock. Registers as a crypto asset firm in the UK. So what this tells me is, dude, cash can eventually become trash. Eventually, all currency could be crypto. How we move and exchange money in the future could be 100% ISO cryptos, right? So if you don't have the stash of that, you're not putting it away, you're going to be in a position where you have to work for it, right? To get that. But in a day and age where it's less and less job opportunities out there, right? So
Bruh,
you got to be considerate.
XRP is gonna be it. Let me tell you, XRP is gonna be it.
XRP, I'm loving XRP. I'm loving XLM. Both of those are top tier.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I just looked at the chart. It looks like we're still on pace for the massive drop on XRP. And look, man, I'm only gonna say this one time. Actually, I'll probably say it again until it happens because I'm gonna tell a lot of people I fucking told you so. When XRP drops and people start panicking, buy.
Yep.
It's not even gonna hurt to do XLM or Algo, right? Those guys, all the ones that are in the ISO chamber. You gotta understand.
We've been talking ISO since 2020, like 221, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if this is going to be the final chance and the final opportunity across a lot of these markets.
But I'm saying this, like you just said, like is cash going to become pretty much obsolete? You got to be able to buy the crypto. So how are you going to be able to buy the crypto with the cash, right? Now, what happens after that? Does the cash get redistributed?
Right.
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't see how that can't be, because there's going to be a use for the US dollar, I think, for a long time period. You got to think. These cryptos are going to be set for high value. They have to. They have to. What was it? There's 500. Was it 500 something million coins, I think, for XRP?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's only 500 plus million, think for the market cap, and it should never hit its market cap. Think of how much that XRP has to be for it to be able to transfer funds from country to country, left and right, in large dollar amount. It's I don't know, bro. I'm telling you, like, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I want to take. Like I said, when it hits that certain price, I'm not gonna say that certain price on here.
Yeah. We know students, y'all, you guys know if you're watching this.
Right. When it hits that price, I'm liable to throw 2 racks on it. You know what I mean? Two
Yeah.
racks. That way I can put 1 rack aside and do whatever I want. The other I can just do whatever I need to just hold. Right. Because I'm not even going to tell you the amount of money that's going to come from just from the 2 racks. That ROI is going to be absolutely bananas.
Oh, for sure.
But as it goes up, right, if I need to withdraw or whatever it is, I want to be able to keep a rack worth and just let it go and hold on to it. As it goes, I'm going to want to take something out and, live off of it here and there, right?
Of course.
And continue to buy, turn around and buy every time it has a small little pullback, because as it goes up, that blast is going to be bananas. And I don't think anybody's ready for it.
XRP has years of catching up to do. Now that things are settling off with the SEC and things of that nature. So this is it's going to be an amazing rise that we're going to be ready to take advantage of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some things you're going to see, regulatory types of crackdowns, right? So, with the ISO announcement being pushed off, we talked about that last episode. You guys just need to position yourself for success, and especially for those of you, if you're in your 30s, your 20s, and stuff like that, your time here is a lot longer. So you're going to be affected by a lot of these changes that happen. So you have to be, aware of what's next and what's happening. You don't have a built 401k over the last 30 years, right? You don't have, the things that could be potentially beneficial for you to survive through this. You're just building, right? A lot of you guys might just starting out. So educate yourselves, pay attention, and be prepared as far as crypto is concerned, and taking advantage of these opportunities that are happening now.
Yeah. And I always stress to everybody, do your own research. If you don't believe me, do your own research. Understand, but you have to have that open mind, and that's why I think a lot of people don't have that open mind. They're not ready for it yet.
Right. That's right.
And if that's the case, those are the people that are going to miss this boat completely.
100%. Right.
And they're also going to be the ones that complain when they do miss that boat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're not taking the time to make this a priority for yourself, it's going to be difficult. If you're distracted by what BS is happening in social media and music and all this other mess that's happening to keep you distracted. I mean, that's the whole idea of it, is to do this stuff under your nose so you don't know what's happening. So that's on you though, right? That's your own fault for allowing that to happen, when there are people in other communities like us that are trying to make more and more people aware of it. But don't complain, don't bitch when shit goes and you miss the boat again, because if you already missed 2020's boat, here's another one. Now it's on you, right?
Yep.
So guys, with that being said, Mike, any final words for everybody? Any other topics on your mind?
No, nothing yet. We'll see as this quarter starts going. After we have earnings calls and whatnot, which I'm sure we'll be doing. a follow up to, because the state of the economy is going to be in a whole different ball game at that point. I feel like. So
July timeframe.
Yeah, June, July, a lot of changes are going to happen between now and then. So I just encourage everybody that does watch, listen, just be on your toes. Expect the unexpected, because the truth of everything is right in front of you. They're just not going to show it to you. So start deciding what you want to do here within the next couple months. Being open-minded to what these changes are. We'll see once Elon leaves Doge. We'll see what happens with the state of the economy when gold is still continuing up past its highest. We get closer and closer to the ISO timeframe, which is June, July.
Yeah, for sure. You guys want to be very well prepared. So I'd love to see a lot of you guys, especially those in ITU, like we're going to be having these discussions years from now of taking advantage of this time frame, right? 5 to 10 years from now, having those talks. And I'd love to have those talks with you guys and sit around and break bread on all of this. So stay smart, stay diligent out there, guys. Quarter one is done. We're getting ready for quarter two. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what the Fed's doing. Watch the AI mania. I mean, at the end of the day, AI does need to legitimize itself, so to speak. Legitimize the value that it's seen over these last few years. So that's part of what's happening with this whole drop as well. So coming in and being able to invest in that arena will be very beneficial for you, right? So just be smart. Have these things written down. Keep a journal, guys. Pay attention. Watch your charts, especially if you've been taught by us, how to look at these charts and how to pay attention to what's coming up next. But we're gonna be ready. We're gonna be prepared. We're gonna be watching every week. So, thanks again, Mike, for coming through. I hope this episode finds a lot of you guys well and helps a lot of you guys position you and your families for the future. We just want to help as many people as possible succeed through this. Okay. That's the biggest part about this. If you're a trader, even if you're not a trader, right, you might have to make some business decisions. You might have to make some housing decisions. And we're here to give you the information that could influence to make the right ones. Right. So, we're going to make sure we're here to make that happen for you guys. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, it needs to be done. If you need to reach out to us at any time, you can check us out at myitu.org. You can find Independent Trading University across all platforms. And me and Mike will, be there to answer any questions for you guys. If you're in a Discord community, you already know what to do. So we're out of here. Thanks again, Mike.